Hey, you guys, welcome to day 2 of your personal 3-day transformation journey. I hope you enjoyed your soaking time and meditation time, and I want you to continue to practice that over the next 2 days. It's a vital part of the transformation process. And I want you to know, too, that I created a group for us on the Facebook page, Mindfully Abundant Facebook page. And so you can access that group. I sent you an invitation through Facebook. So if you see that invitation for the closed group that I created, accept it and then post something on it about your journey. Tell us what your experience was like. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever experience you had. Share it with us and let us know how what you experienced so that we can begin a dialogue about that over the next couple of days. So also let me know, I had the thought this morning as I was looking at the content I'll create tomorrow that maybe 3 days was a little short, and if you guys would like to go a couple extra days, I'd be happy to do that with you, and we could go through Sunday and make it a 5-day journey. So post in the Facebook group and let me know if that's something you're interested in, because I'm certainly willing to do that with you. All right, so today we're going to talk about the second aspect of our transformation journey. The first one, of course, was spiritual attention to your spiritual life and learning the skills of meditation in order to bring fullness to your spiritual life. The second thing I want to address is limiting beliefs. Now, you may or may not have heard of this before, but the idea is that we have through the course of our life, adapted ideas about ourselves. And often those are influenced in our very, very young life before we're even aware of it by friends, family members in particular, and people that we come in contact with who make often offhanded comments, other times very directed comments about our behavior or who we are as a person. And we take those on as truth. And we begin to believe about ourselves that those are actually true about ourselves. And they begin to limit us because we begin to think things, when we have a new opportunity, we begin to think things like, I'm not enough. That could never happen to me. Good things don't happen to me. I cannot be whatever. I cannot do whatever. And that then throws a wrench into the works. So some great opportunity comes along, and in a couple days we've talked ourselves out of it because we think we just couldn't do it. We're not capable. We don't have the skill set to do it. Or more commonly, I found in my life, it's more of that I'm not enough thing. And I tend to just reiterate that in different ways for the situation that I'm in. The bottom line, when I go back through all the talk that's going on in my head about that and my fear about saying yes, the root fear of it is I'm not enough. I can't do this because I'm not enough. And so what I want us to do, what I want you to do through this exercise is to take a moment and sit with that information. Just sit with it. And think back through your own life. Think of past opportunities that have come that you decided not to do, and think through your thought process and why you decided not to do them, and see if you can identify limiting beliefs. Another way to identify them is what makes you afraid. When you're offered the opportunity to go on vacation, when you're offered the opportunity to take a trip, when you're off with friends or to go on a really interesting excursion somewhere, if you're offered the opportunity to teach, if you're offered the opportunity for a new job, what goes on in your thought process that either makes you say yes to it or no, and particularly paying attention to why you say no, and what's going on in your mental processes that gets you to the point of saying this is not for me. Now, I'm not saying that every opportunity that comes you should say yes to, by no means. There are appropriate things to say no to, and including this isn't the right time, or I can't take another thing on because I'm committed to these things and I want to do them well. All really good reasons to not take something new on. But when you find yourself not taking something on, in ways that, and for reasons you can't readily identify or you're having this nebulous feeling of fear, almost always when that's the case, you've got these limiting beliefs functioning. And they function in the background because they've been with us for so long. It's not like they're in the front of your mind going, I'm a limiting belief and I'm here to tell you right now, you're not enough. It doesn't show up that way. It shows up more like discomfort. It shows up more like feeling unsettled. It shows up more like this random fear that you're very familiar with because you've had it with you a very long time. And you can't even trace it back to when it started. But it's the same fear, and you can identify it because you know how it feels within you. It's those types of things that you can almost always find a limiting belief behind them. And identifying them is really important because it's not just enough to identify them. We want to get rid of them, right? They're part of the reason why we are not living the life we've always dreamed ourselves of living, because they have a very loud voice and they speak incessantly telling us whatever it is they're telling us. I'm not enough. It'll never work. This type of stuff never works out for me. I fail every time I step out on my own. Whatever they are, they're right there at the ready to speak into whatever situation we're in. And so what I have found to be very helpful, and I learned this again, I know I've mentioned Dr. Anderson before, but his Freedom in Christ materials are very strong, and I've used them repeatedly in different situations. But Dr. Anderson teaches the very important lesson about renunciation, of separating yourself from things that aren't true about you. So let's go back to the one, I'm not enough, okay? So Dr. Anderson says, and I believe with him, that the truest things about us are the things God says about us. So, would God come to you and say, you're not enough? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Never. God would never say that. He is a father, and a father loves his children. A father loves their children and would sacrifice and give up everything for their children. And they would never come and say, oh my gosh, you're so terrible. You're never going to amount to anything. You're not enough. I don't even know why I created you, because you're not going to ever do anything with your life. That type of language would never come from God, never come from the source of life, never. And so when that thought's there, we can fully renounce that. We can just know with great confidence that is not from God. That is something we've learned because some other people in our lives along the way have said that to us or treated us in a way that made us feel that way. And it's a very simple process. You really just say, I turn from that. I separate myself from that. That is not my truth. You can say it however you want to. There's no formula. There's no special way you have to say it to make it leave. Just tell it to go and say, I'm not partnering with you anymore, and I cut off all the feelings that are associated with that. That was never true of me. I've told myself the truth that I'm not enough, but it's not the truth. And I don't accept it as my truth anymore. And I turn from the lie that's there that says I'm not enough, because I am enough. God made me, gave me life, and I'm enough. And with God's help, I can do anything I set my hand to. That's the truth. So you break it off, and then you tell yourself the truth and accept the truth and move forward. And there's something very freeing. I want to hear what you experience again when you begin to break these thoughts off of you, these limiting beliefs off, because I know for myself, the minute those things come out of my mouth, I can feel in my body them leaving my body. There's a weight that gets lifted off. Sometimes tears flow because it's a heavy load that I've been carrying for a long time. And now it's gone. And so you can expect to feel physical things in your body come up. And you can also expect that with the really hard ones, the ones that are deeply entrenched, that your mouth may even have a hard time saying them. But you can say it. You just pause. And if you have to write down what you want to say and read it, do that. But say it. Because as we say it, it breaks the bond. It breaks that limiting belief right off. And now we're in a transformation place, because we can go without our limiting beliefs into our future. and say yes with confidence. Say yes and know that we're enough and we can do this. And so this is the practice I want you to do today through tomorrow, is to sit and make a list of your limiting beliefs. Ask Spirit to give you what it is that your limiting beliefs are. And trust that as those thoughts begin to come into your mind, that those are from God because you asked for God's help, and write them down. The list may be short. The list may be long. Doesn't matter. And then just go right through each one of those limiting beliefs and turn from it. Say, I do not accept this. This is not who I am. And then speak the positive. If it's I'm not enough, say I renounce that. I turn from it because I am enough. And just go work right through your list. It doesn't take long. You don't have to spend a lot of time, but you'll yield great results. Now, in an effort to help you with this practice, I am attaching a document to this email that is a really good information on it. Let's say it that way. Information on it about how to deal with limiting beliefs. So you can have that too as something to refer to and use as you go through this process. So make sure you go on to our closed group, accept the invitation for our closed group, go on and post about your experiences and what you're experiencing in now day 2 of this journey. Also, let me know if you want to go 5 days instead of 3, and if so, we'll go through Sunday with this. I'll create some more content for us to experience. And then make sure you include comments from yesterday and comments for today so we can all interact together. I want you guys to meet each other. And so I'm looking forward to your comments. I'll be watching too and moderating the posts and see what you post. So let's get free from limiting beliefs. Yes!